A very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Ashwini Kumar Kota, and on behalf of my company, Excel Pro Trading Solutions Private Limited, I welcome you all to this session on transforming legacy learning modules to responsive online courses. I'll take a few minutes to explain you what is responsive learning, how we go about it, and eventually we'll focus upon the five interesting things what you can do right now to make your learning experiences highly responsive and engaging for your audience. I presume almost all of you will be knowing about my company Excel Pro. We've been doing a lot of e-learning work over the years, and I've also been conducting a lot of webinars. And on the YouTube, you can always check out Excel Pro's samples and webinars and host of things we put over there. And for more details about our services, you can always visit www.playexcelpro.com for our latest samples, latest events, and host of things what we do. So to get started, why do you want to transform your e-learning modules to responsive courses? That is the prime question. If you want to transform your current modules or what we call as legacy modules, which you might have developed a few years ago, to responsive courses, what is the reason? I'm sure all of you have your own reasons, but when I asked few of my clients and prospective clients, some of the reasons what I came across were current modules don't run on all devices. That was one of the reasons I've come to hear of. Learners find the current modules to be boring. We have bought a new LMS, we are MNC, and we want to have the latest in e-learning, and so on and so forth. There are quite a few reasons, and of course, everybody has got their own reasons to do something or not do something. But when we're at it, are these reasons strong enough to transform a program into a responsive learning course? You'll realize the reason is a reason, but it's not a strong reason. So obviously, they feel something and are saying something else, or there's more to it. So we went deeper to understand in terms of what is the feeling that our people are getting and what is it that they want to address with a responsive e-learning course. So to focus on responsive e-learning, the first thing we do is understand what is responsive. And to understand responsive, I just googled up responsive as a word, and what came out was something so simple and powerful: reacting quickly and positively. That's what Google says, reacting quickly and positively. So when I want to create a responsive e-learning course, the course should be such that it enables a person to react quickly and positively, and it itself reacts quickly and positively to the learner's environment, circumstances, and learning style preferences, etc. It has to give a learner an experience the kind of thing what he is looking at or what is best for the person at that point of time in real time. That is the need of the hour today. From responsive, we move on to something called responsive web design. The reason being, e-learning was not just born yesterday. There's been a whole world behind it. There's been the technology-based engagement. We have got websites and host of things and content shared online, and eventually learning also moved online. So we have this ILT, we have what we call as instructor-led training, which moved into something called CBT, which is a computer-based training, and then we have WBT, which is a web-based training. So it's an evolution. So the evolution was there. We had to follow the same track to understand how best these things make sense for us. So when we look at responsive web design, I was checking up again a couple of definitions, what I could share with you, something you'll find interesting. And I found a very simple definition, simple but very powerful. Responsive web design makes your web pages look good on all devices. Fantastic. So if my e-learning model is responsive, it's going to make my content look good on all devices, desktop, tablets, and phones. Fair enough, that's what we know. Responsive means everywhere, every device, accessible, etc. Then I came across another interesting perspective of the same point. Responsive web design is the approach that suggests that design and development should respond to the user's behavior and environment based on screen size, platform, and orientation. Well, this is a little deep, but conveys the same meaning. What caught my fancy here is should respond to the user's behavior and environment. Now, this is what caught my fancy or attention, because now we're talking about a user behavior and environment, and the devices should be able to relate to it. The content should be provided to the person on any device, any platform, any screen size, and responds to the person's or the user's behavior and environment. So in this case, we talk about a learner's behavior and environment being addressed to this point. Then we take a look at responsive e-learning design. So what is responsive e-learning design? At that point of time, first there was responsive, then there was a term responsive design, and then there's responsive e-learning design. So this term comes from responsive design. We understood what is that. So I'll have to take a look at it in a deeper way. This responsive e-learning design describes the process wherein specific learning content, now we are focused here on specific learning content, which can be made accessible across multiple devices like computers, tabs, and mobile phones by resizing and realigning the content to fit a particular device's dimensions, to create an optimal learning experience for the end user. Now the whole focus is, if you see it tactically or superficially, you will see, okay, there's some content which has to be made available or pushed through or pumped through or seen through or whatever you can say through any device a person is holding. Could be a computer, could be a tab, could be a laptop, could be a mobile device. But the crux of the matter is you have to create an optimal learning experience for the end user. If we keep on pushing the content without creating a fantastic optimal learning experience, we will be penny wise pound foolish, or what we can say is operation success but the patient died. We don't want such a situation. So what do? We go ahead a little more deeper and understand the need for responsive e-learning courses. So what is this responsive all about? Of course, there is a need for learning, there is a need for e-learning. Today we take a look at the need for responsive e-learning. I'm rushing a little bit because this is just a precursor to the whole context of the program. I'm sure most of you know these points. I'm just refreshing the whole points so that we have the right perspective and reach to the 5 points out there. First is quantum shift of thought from device compatibility to learner experience for effective learning outcome. So today when you got some fantastic tools in front of you, how best can you use them for learning? And also the learning orientation and the user experience is changing over time. There was a day when we used to read a lot of newspapers. Today we do glance newspapers, but we consume more of the content online digitally, like using internet or maybe a TV or one of those devices which we have. But more often than not, our news comes to us from mobile devices. When you take a look at that the learner experience is actually linked to the user experience, and user is the person living in today's generation. So how can we have an effective learning outcome? So we have to shift our mindset from a device compatibility to providing a learner experience. Just being compatible with the device is good, but not good enough from the learner experience point of view. And what does it depend upon? The first is a topic to be learned. The topic we're talking about, what kind of experience will match the learning of the topic and the extent the topic is to be learned. If you follow Bloom's taxonomy, you know the various levels Bloom's has given. So in that, if you see, every level is clearly earmarked to an extent. Now, I'm not going to the theory or the psychology or the logic of it. I'm only focusing on the fundamentals, which says to what extent we're talking about. Are we saying you should know all these facts? You should have a good experience and understanding of it, or you should have a practice of applying something, and so on and so forth. Then the technology available and feasible. I might want the sky and the earth, but what kind of technology is available for me, and what is the level of feasibility I'm talking about? So based on technology, we should be mapping our responsive orientation accordingly. And of course, there's the budgets. When you want to make something good, it comes with a price. So what kind of price do can we afford to have? Or rather, what kind of a price point can we afford to purchase at? And then accordingly map the requirements. Whose time is it? When I say whose time is it, the main important point when we talked about e-learning some time back, and I've spoken about it in one of my few of my previous webinars too. When we talk about classroom-based training, we bring all the people together, put in a classroom, and do a training program at the time and cost of the company. When we say online learning program or e-learning, it's a self-learning, self-paced learning, etc. Quite a bit of the time is being shifted to the personal time. When a person is free, traveling in a bus, sitting at home, doing something, the person is using his or her personal time effectively. So when we say responsiveness, our time and device go hand in hand, and the state of mind environment also gets coupled with it. Now that's quite a bit of a combination of variables to be addressed. So before we go forward into the responsiveness of it and the e-learning of it, I would like to quickly refresh upon, when we talk of responsive, I would like you to focus on the fact that we're talking about courses, not a module. We're talking about what best will provide to you with the devices you have and a complete holistic learning experience, and not just about taking one module, repackaging it so that it works on device 1, device 2, device 3, device 4, so it is supposed to be successful. It doesn't work like that. So for that reason, we look at the main fundamentals. We got asynchronous and synchronous. In asynchronous, we got SCORM modules which you load on the LMS. Now these are the modules people have been using earlier. You can still have as many SCORM modules on LMS as you want, but of course, if you develop them with HTML5 and other technologies, they can run on all devices. But a module by itself is not a course. A module is always a part of a course, a part of providing a complete holistic learning experience to the learner. Online videos, fantastic. YouTube and Vimeo are full of them. You can create your own camera shot videos. You can have real-time videos, or you can always have animated videos, which are commonly known as explainer videos. Create small videos which are like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. push them on the mobile devices, put them on YouTube, a person can learn from them, and they can always dovetail with your SCORM modules. Games, simulations, PDFs and PPTs, discussion forums, and so on and so forth. Similarly, at the same time, we can have something which is synchronous, like a live online session. Today, I'm doing a live online session with you. You're live with me, and you can also have a poll running. We can have some videos you're seeing right now while you're talking to me. We can have a game or engage in activity, host of stuff, video conferencing and live chats. So, if you see a combination of asynchronous and synchronous, most of these things are easily accessible across devices. When I do a webinar, it's a very interesting situation because I've got learners who are on a computer, who are on a laptop, who are on a mobile device, on tab, and there are also many instances I've come across where people have come together in one classroom. They like as if they're watching a cricket match kind of a thing. They put in the LCD projector and they put in their speakers on, and they're relaxing with a cup of coffee in the boardroom, and about 10-20 people are sitting together and they're attending a webinar live. So it's no longer like a personalized, they made a group event. So you can group event, personalized event, my space, your space, everything is like at the same time happening, and you are enjoying an experience what you want to enjoy using the technology the way you want to use it. It's how you consume. So today it's no longer the era of how I give, it's the era of how a learner consumes. So if a learner consumes on demand, a lot of things are available on demand for a person to consume as and when he or she wants it, and that makes learning experience fantastic. So, having come so far in terms of understanding what is responsive, what is a responsive web design, and how does it link to responsive e-learning design, and once you design responsive e-learning, it's not about converting a model to play on devices, it's providing a complete holistic experience. What can you do today? Think out of the box. That's what we can do right now, because that's what we're here for. So if you think out of the box, if it's okay, great, I understood all the fundamentals, I'm cool with them, but now are there some things I can do quickly? Are there some things I can start off, and can I make a good beginning, or can I just look at a different perspective altogether? Yes, you can. I'm sharing some thoughts with you which have worked for my clients, some things we have tried out and worked wonders, and I'll share the experiences also. And being experimental is a part of being responsive. Today the technology is changing by the day. The learner orientation is changing by the day. So are you also reorienting yourself, or are you stuck along with the legacy program in the old stone age? I'm sure you're not, and that's the reason why you're here with me. So to focus further, let's take a look at transforming current modules. So when we say transforming current modules, what exactly are we talking about? I'll put it in perspective, then move forward. I'm sure you have some e-learning modules with you which are developed either in Flash or even predated technologies than Flash, and you're facing that either they are like too old. I'm sure e-learning does not become old. There are no book covers which develop dog ears or torn pages or muddied papers and faded pictures. We don't have that in e-learning. How many times you use, it's as fresh and as good as the computer which is presenting it to you. However, when we talk of transforming current modules, we do have situation where we have grown out of them. So what can you do? You can port them as is. If you got a legacy program, the only problem you're facing is that the program is not running on my current devices, which means I've got a program, I've got an e-learning program, probably in .swf format or some other format, which was very good, my people liked it, but for some reason I'm not able to use it in the devices. So you can port it as is, you can use certain technologies, you can even use a screen capture, convert it to a video, again give interactivity to it. Host of basic technical stuff can be done to pick it up and put it back in a technology which is like acceptable to the new generation devices. So what are we doing? We're not disturbing anything, just pick it and do it. But then my question is, why should I do it? If I've got something with me and I'm going to repurpose the whole thing or put it into something different, I might as well add a little dash of current generation stuff to it, or add something new and make it more fantastic rather than just recycling or changing skins. Second, reuse the assets. That's when we say, rather than trying to just convert it and trying to push something up into the system again, I would rather see what assets I can reuse. So if I've got a program that's designed well, I don't want to change the content, I'll look at the assets and which of the assets I can reuse in the new responsive e-learning program. So you're salvaging the assets from one and creating something new. So what do you get? You don't need to reinvent the wheel once again. So all those graphics, animations you've got, wherever useful, we'll use them. Okay, these are not the 5 points. I'm just defining a few elements in terms of what can be done. Redesign using maximum available assets. So once your assets are in place, you'll redesign the entire program. Now this is something is always recommended. If you have to transform something, it's better to take a look at it from the design perspective and then develop it rather than just going to development. And let's accept some things. Everything in life has an expiry period. So if you've developed a learning module a few years back, probably time has come for it to be kept aside or just pick up whatever you can from it. Most importantly, the learning experiences, what the learners have said in terms of, okay, we liked it, did not like it, enjoyed, did not enjoy, what have happened. Pick it up from there, and as along with that, what are assets you can salvage, and now what kind of experience am I going to give to my learners. Redevelop completely keeping the context in mind. Now, this is what I've seen happening quite often, where sometimes people do have courses, legacy courses, which they feel, okay, the context is good, but the approach or the content is not good enough, and we have to relook at it from the current context, refresh the content, refresh the learning style, and as far as current generation and the current people's learning orientation, I would like to redevelop the whole thing. So you take the best practices and make something new out of it. Always remember to do a cost benefit analysis when we embark on something like this. The reason being, you might always want the sky and the earth, but if you don't do a cost benefit analysis, you might end up creating fantastic plans which will never take off from the ground. So, going forward, what is it that you can do with your current e-learning programs? One, whether you touch them or don't touch them, keep them in the center, work around them. 5 things you can do. The first and foremost, which I've always been spoken very, very actively, and I'm a big believer of the fact, is gamification. It works wonders. I've seen it working. So gamification. So when you say gamification, you might say, like, oh my God, gamification is a complex stuff. How do I make it work? How do I do this and that kind of a thing? It's quite simple. Why is it quite simple? If you know what is gamification, it's quite simple for you. Fundamentally, you're using game mechanics and game design in non-game constructs. That's it. So you've got an e-learning module, great. So can we add some game mechanics to make it fantastic? That's it. How do you do it? Get your designers on board, get your e-learning development companies on board. People like us will pick up any content from you, the way you got it, apply our brains into it, apply the best practice into it, and we'll come out with a solution which says, okay, this is how we can gamify it without spending too much on it in terms of time, effort, energy, or money. So what are the advantages of proper gamification? Your learners will enjoy, because if they enjoy it, they learn faster and better. Remember we spoke about the boring programs in the beginning? Yes. If something is boring, it becomes painful and people switch off, it doesn't work. Especially in the organizational learning or workplace learning or corporate learning, it's good to make it highly competitive, collaborative and enjoyable. Peer work, I mentioned collaboration, I mentioned competition, and hands-on, a lot of engagement. If you look at your legacy module, if the only engagement a person had was to click the next button, you know exactly where it missed the bus. So today, how can you make it different? Look at what design perspective. See again what can be salvaged, what can be taken, what kind of a shell can be built around it. Can we just add some skins to it, bring some game mechanics, or add an element of gamification to it? I'm not going to specifics because I need to take a look at what you've got, then I can say how best you can transform it. You can refurbish into something fantastic. That's what we can do. Leading to better retention and application. So the whole purpose is you have a module and you can pick it up and you can add certain elements to it and you can turn it into a gamified module. When I say add, don't think only technology. Let's not be tech myopic in our approach, because the moment you add, okay, I've got a SW file, how will we add it to it? I've got so and so file, how can we put this thing? It talks, doesn't talk. Please don't worry about technology. Focus on the design element of it, the context of it, the concept of it. If your context and design right, technology can always work as an enabler for you. If you don't know how to do it, there's always somebody who can do it for you, and always leave it to the experts. If you have a strong e-learning development team, give it to them, they'll take care of it. Else, you can engage any good e-learning development company, like us of course, who can work with you to transform it for you. Why? Because eventually motivation, sense of achievement is what gamification provides, and with this element added to your module, it can work wonders to the learning experience of your learners. That's gamification. Sounds big, quite simple. Don't worry about the technology part, focus upon what you want, how it works out, and it can be done. It's quite simple, much more simple than what it seems to be. Of course, like all good things in life, using gamification, you can always go all the way up to space and come back and do some fantastic creations, but you can always also use it in a quite simple way. There's always a simpler way to do things, and it all depends upon what's your need. Second very interesting and important thing is micro learning. If you have a legacy module, the probability of that being at least half an hour long is quite high, because usually in those days we used to have classroom programs of 8 hours, and we used to say like, okay, look, I'm going to create the e-learning model of an hour or 2 hours. People were quite kicked up about it. Why? It looked smaller. Well, there was this 5 day match, cricket match. Those of you follow cricket, 5 day match became a 1 day match. When 1 day came in the 80s, it was a big thing. Okay, 1 day cricket. And some people said it works, doesn't work. There's a whole theory about 5 day versus 1 day, test match versus ODIs. Got over. And then what happened? A few years ago, we had T20. Again, the same discussion. 1 day versus T20. Today, test matches are played, we don't even know when. And 1 days are like, okay, I don't have time for it. Let's go for an evening, quick T20 and come back. And that's a big business, big money, big players, and big action. So, small is big again. When it's a micro learning, games and animations, these are two fantastic things you can dovetail with your current program to make it a fantastic learning experience. So what is micro learning? It deals with relatively small learning units and short-term learning activities, animations, games. Now, how does it work for us? Let's take some quick random approaches. You got the e-learning module. The simplest thing what you can do is run the model on your computer, use QuickTime or any video to capture screen, put your audio onto it. Audio is of course already there onto it. Run it through, pull it out, break into small pieces, add dash of animation. Any animation company can do it for you. Freelancers can do it for you. Even we can do it for you. We'll add animations onto it, give some good look and feel, and then it turns to small bits of animated videos, which can be given to your team on WhatsApp or on your servers or anywhere. And small learning capsules will work wonderfully well in terms of retention and recall. Not always, depends on what you've already got. So there's no generalization here. It's a simple approach. So what are you doing? You're spending time and effort only in focusing upon pick up the current content, convert it to a video, small pieces, add some animations, make it more engaging, give it to your team. Similarly, take the whole video, break it into small pieces, create a small game, a game on which various elements are created as per the game mechanics you want, some theme which you're looking at, and then on a click of it, a small video plays, some questions come in, and this whole mechanism which we can create. And at the cost of creating a game, you can create an entire module when that's possible. And this is something which we did for a client recently because some very good content was available, but in a little PPT plus voiceover kind of form. And we transformed into videos, put it into a game, and the whole. If you look at the game today, you can't make out it is an old content packaged into a game. It works again, it's working well for them. So what are advantages? Easy retention and faster recall. So your complete 1 hour module is broken into small pieces for quick, easy retention and faster recall. I'm not saying record and cut and paste. I'm saying record and use good animation skills. People who got design sense and understand visual designing and learner oriented designing, and then that little bit of animation turns into something fantastic. And you save on cost, effort, time, energy because you already have something from the context and content point of view with you. Consistency of engagement. It's not like 1 hour stretched from first minute to 60th minute. It's a small packets of a minute or 2 minute, which can be consumed over a period of time. I can be given, say, like a capsule, a 1 minute video every day or a period of next 30 days. And I can be given a small game-based quiz every alternate day. So I'm engaging using the same content in a much more better fashion. And what do you get? You get better data analysis and live course correction. So rather than running a model and figuring out, okay, at the end of the module, there's a tick mark which says, okay, this person has completed the course. You're not sure after 3 days what the person remembers. But in an approach like this, you're spacing out over a period of a week, 2 weeks, or a month, and you can get real-time data in terms of what is the level of engagement. And of course, effective use of mobile devices anytime, anywhere learning. These small videos and games are highly responsive. So your legacy course is now a responsive element which can be played or accessed on any device, anywhere, anytime. What's the catch here? You can also decide which part of the content is consumed on the computer and which part of the content is consumed on a mobile device. Third, this little more out of the box. It's called personalized learning. Today is the era of mass personalization. We all look at very personalized experience. Even to the extent of visiting a website. If you go and visit a website once, it captures cookies, and after 3-4 visits, it serves you a personalized experience. Even Google. Try Googling a few things here and there, and after some time, it's personalized experience for you. You start seeing what Google thinks you should see. Well, that's a level of mass personalization, and we can't be left far behind when it comes to e-learning. The first thing a person personalizes is my device. So when I'm consuming something on a device, the personalization has to be to my device. which we discussed already in terms of a computers or a laptop or a tab or a mobile phone, my time and duration, when I consume, how I consume. So the kind of old school or the old legacy module, if you are breaking into micro learning elements, which we discussed earlier, you can always have a person to pick it up as and when the person wants it, and you can say, okay, it's your device, your time, your decision. That's okay. But we are talking of going beyond my place and my pace, my learning capability. Now, this is where I was coming to. Till now, one e-learning module was one e-learning module only, one size fits all. If the 100 employees were to go through it, all 100 go through it at the same time and pace. But when you break it up and make it repackage to small capsules, etc., you can always look at each learning element once it's completed. What is the kind of response you're getting? I mentioned about analytics a little while ago. If the analytics show a person is a superstar, the kind of content which is passed on as the next module changes. So after 2 minutes, 5 capsules of 2 minutes, you get to know a person is like a superstar. Then the sixth capsule is different for the person than an average learner, and which is different than the one for laggard. So what you've done, you've repackaged the content and you're sending it in such a way that the person's learning orientation is matching what the person gets to see. Personalization. This can easily be done with the help of technology. Simple technology is easily available, nothing to worry about, but it requires a will and a thought beyond the box, out of the box. Out of the box, a module is not a module, it's a bunch of packets. Series is not a series, it's not linear, it's always radial. Consumption is as per the learning capacity, device, time, place, etc. of the learner. So allow the learner to consume at his own pace, place, capability, and you have a fantastic learning experience. You just have to serve it in a way the person can consume it. Sounds theoretical, but it's totally practical and it's totally doable. And if you want to approach it, please get in touch with us. We are more than happy to help you the way we help some of our clients. Fourth point, very important. Social learning. Probably there's a high probability that when the legacy courses were made, if it was 8 or 10 years ago, this particular word did not even exist in the world. There was nothing called social learning. I presume so, at least in the e-learning space. But today this is the in thing. Social is in. Everything is social. Our life is completely social online. If you see you socializing, people don't relate it to socializing in the real sense. They see you socializing on Facebook or something else. So how do you make it social? You need to know what are the popular social options. We got blogs, we got WhatsApp groups, we got discussion forums, we got LinkedIn groups, we got Facebook, we got Google Hangouts, and so on and so forth. Host of things. But what's the catch here? How does this link with my legacy module? Quite simple. If a legacy module is a 1 hour of an elephant sitting on a computer which cannot be accessed on mobile devices, no problem. Who said one has to read through it to access it? You create a whole bunch of content which can be consumed on a variety of devices by people engaging with other people using your blogs, WhatsApp group, LinkedIn, Facebook, discussion forums, Google Hangouts. Now the game changes. Out of the box. You're giving a different dimension. You're saying, look, it's not a module, it's a course. It'll engage you in a way I feel you would like to be engaged using the kind of technology and approaches you prefer to be engaged in. So break your module from being a module to being a course. What's a course? It's got a topic, it's got a content to be consumed, to be worked upon by participants, engaging with participants in a social forum. So when you build in these elements around it of social learning, the simple looking old legacy module turns into a highly fantastic course. Advantages. Social ensures voluntary collaborative learning through experiences and opinion sharing. This is where the game changes again. Till now the module was a module, a person consumes it by himself or herself, and then there's an LMS on which the score is ticked, and okay, you got so and so, there's a curve plotted, etc., etc., etc. Good, but not good enough today, because the technology, the mobile technology is way powerful than that. So if you got a Ferrari, why will you go to slow lane? So social ensures voluntary collaborative learning. So your module, without touching the module, you can always say, okay, this module runs on a computer, so you can access it during so and so time at a computer. But there's 10 other things which can happen when you are not using the module, and you can use these to enhance your learning, where the module actually becomes a reference material. So even if a person has to go to a computer for lack of choice because you don't have the budgets for it, your boss has said no, nothing doing, consume it this way, but you want to make it responsive, Take the module as a rock, keep it where it's supposed to be, and build a complete social learning experience around it by engaging other tools. So this way you're bringing your brainwave and not even spending a penny on the module, and yet you get a responsive experience. Helps in keeping the context practical and live beyond the module, as I just mentioned. And remember one thing, don't forget to moderate it. The moment you make it social, you're opening up the whole element for you, where it's no longer linear. Anybody can say something, do something, write something, etc. Moderate it. If you don't moderate it, you may end up not channelizing the energies, and it can be a free for all where people might lose the context what for they're there. That should never happen. Fifth and last point. Now the very look at it might look like a googly for you. MOOCs. MOOCs, how do they relate to responsive learning is something, the first question which you can get in your mind right now. My question would be, why not? Out of the box. MOOCs are like a huge, gigantic set of courses available on demand at any point of time. A lot of content created by the best brains in the world. Why should we be left behind? So MOOCs offer us live online sessions. If I've got one legacy program and I'm trying to make a difference to a person's capability using one old legacy program, for example, if I've got a time management program which was created in my company about 10 years ago, or I've got a sales training program created about 8 years ago, so that's okay. But if I do not have the budgets or time, effort, energy to move it around and make something fantastic, keep it in the middle, add elements of MOOCs to it. What you can do, you can see what MOOCs are complementing that course. See, if I can't transform that module into responsive online learning, can I have a MOOC which is responsive for me? Can I have a MOOC which brings in those elements which are missing in my current course, club them together and turn it into a course from a module, a set of things put together which deliver what you want. So the MOOCs use traditional course materials the same way as your legacy course. They are film lectures which can be accessed. If you are not having the luxury of filming lectures, you can use them as you want it. Readings and problem sets is what is provided by them, similar to the ones you have here. And interactive user forums to support community interactions among students and teachers. Now these are people not from your institutions or your organization. They are across the globe. So you're bringing a complete diverse perspective and you're making the learner centric to all these things. Okay, we have a module here which gives you what you want, but I'm talking about a complete course. I'm involving a MOOC, I'm making it social, I'm getting some videos for you, and I'm creating a game for you. Put all this things together and boom, you got a fantastic learning experience delivered to your learner who will be like, wow, he'll enjoy it, and the outcome will be there to see. What does it require? It doesn't require you don't need to spend a lot of money. Just think out of the box, beyond modules into a complete holistic solutions. In summary, 1. Build your responsive course and not just a module that runs on all devices. This is the main message I'm delivering today. It is not a module anymore. It's a responsive course comprising of a host of things. Even if you take just for the fun of it, take a look at any of the basic LMSs. Even take a look at Moodle and you want to put something up. It says create a course. Then it says place an object onto it, gives an option of SCORM, quiz, forum, this, that. Take a look at it. So much is available. And what do? One SCORM file is equal to one course and we're happy. No, those days are gone. This is the era of using multitude of things to serve our learner to experience the learning the way he or she wants to do it. Focus on the learner experience rather than bells and whistles. Now, in this kind of a world where the regulations are few, focus is more, there is a probability that we can always get carried away by the bells and whistles. Okay, this looks good to me. I want to have a game because the game is the same thing. Okay, you have a game, but are you clear about the purpose of having a game, or are you just having a game for the heck of having a game? So this is the kind of thing we should look at. Don't get carried away with bells and whistles. Focus on, is anything what I'm giving here providing the right learner experience for my learner? From your current course, what can you take, what can you not take? Anything you find redundant or is outdated or is not relevant in the current context, delete it. If you find some content which was relevant a few years ago, like for example, in a particular course we have got somebody talking about filling a form, a paper form, something like a sales teams have to fill the forms for daily activity report, etc. And the form itself is no longer existent. Today it's all in the app, gone. So the whole element is deleted. Keep what is good. If some good concepts are there, good fundamentals are there, some good points, topics, examples, anything relevant today and useful for your learners, keep it. Change what you want. So anything what is not relevant right now, you want to modify it to bring it to be in context today, change it. Add what you need to make it truly responsive. Let us add, you can add something within the module or you can add something around the module. We discussed within and around. So within the module, you are doing something, repackaging it, putting the HTML5 and putting some stuff into it like animations and activities and games. You can make it work. And around the module, no, I can't change the module, if budget doesn't permit, my time doesn't permit. Okay, you can add elements of responsiveness to give a whole holistic responsive experience to your learner. So add what you need to make it truly responsive. So that was all about transforming your legacy courses into truly responsive transforming your legacy modules into truly responsive e-learning courses. The point here is, if you have a will and would like to make it happen, you can surely make it happen. Right now, if you've got some thoughts in terms of how you want to do it, or you've got some programs you want to convert but not able to think through how, I do understand the point. Feel free to call us, talk to us, or speak to us, or email us, and we're more than happy to help you. If you want to reach us, you can always reach us at www.playexcelpro.com, or you can always call us at +91 8041144665 or hello@excelprotraining.com, and I'll be more than able to help you with your requirement. So wish you all the best for your transformation of e-learning modules and create some fantastic e-learning courses, and have a great day ahead. Thank you.